Wrestler.
Welcome to the whoa, shit.
Wow. Welcome back, Dum Dum.
That's from the past. All right. Yeah, we're going to just do one. That's fine.
Maybe like an hour. Depends.
Last time we talked about aliens, and now I want to talk
we kind of pushed that, the whole alien thing, which is fine. At least we talked about.
I think it's important
You ain't black.
to talk about certain things because, it's kind of weird out there. And I don't know if it's because there's like an impending depression, not like what I have, which is like chronic depression, but like we're close to having a depression,
Are we again?
I think so. I think it's as they say, in the works,
And this would be the second one, right? Underneath this administration?
Well, that was a recession because our president is another reword.
Reword.
But yeah, so that's we haven't had a depression, I don't think, since like right before World War II.
Okay.
And then what we do, we got to go fight someone because then we have domestic production and factories. And then more money is pumped back into the economy, and then magically we're out of a recession.
Yeah.
I would love nothing more than if we just attacked everybody, and said, fuck it.
Pew, pew. Just push the fucking button. Let's go.
Imagine because it's easy. Okay. It's easy to be anywhere and be like, this place sucks. They suck. Whatever. Like you go to a nice restaurant. It's got all the big billings and you're like, it wasn't as good as I thought.
Right.
The United States is probably like that too. But wouldn't it be great if the United States was fucking awesome? And it was so awesome that they were like, you know what? We're going to go and attack fucking Russia and Ukraine. Bang. Both of them. Fuck it. Bang.
Yahtzee. Let's go.
I would love nothing more than if the country was like that. My fear is that we're not like that. My fear is that we're really led by a doddering, is it doddering or doddering?
That's one of those tomato things. I think either way you were not wrong.
We're led by a complete moron. And still the ass hasn't fallen out of the place. So that's cool. But what happens if it does? What happens if it does? That's all.
At what point is it?
It's a little scary.
Is it over?
But wouldn't it be cool to know that like we were like, as they say, I'm that guy. If the United States was that guy, I'm him.
I got a question. Were we not known as that at recently? Were we not?
Yeah, I'd say for the bulk of our existence, yes.
Okay, because we were the balls.
Yes.
As you would say in Ron Burgundy's terms, we were the balls.
I'm the ball.
Like, the United States was one country you just did not absolutely ever fuck with.
That's a fact. And we still haven't been attacked on our soil other than 9/11, whatever.
And I honestly think that we were there a few years ago because we had a president that just did not give a fuck.
It's okay to be pro. So I put the
and I think at that moment it was great because that put the fear of God back into a lot of these countries. Are like,
well, people started
this
to act.
Dude is not fucking around.
Yeah,
we are legit gonna fuck shit up.
But now what?
But now what? We have this fucking clown. Fucking can't even eat ice cream properly.
Yeah, he eats ice cream like he sniffs girls'
that's
hair.
where we're at. I mean, I honestly think it was tough. I don't do a lot of fucking.
I just don't do a lot of fucking.
I don't know about fucking. I don't do a lot of what do you call it? Politics. I don't. I really don't understand it. I don't get into it much, but I really think that if we're talking flexing our muscles, I think back in the Reagan era, Carter Reagan era, that we were
Oh yeah,
it.
Well, because we were just making 1 billion nuclear bombs. We're like,
And
fuck it.
we were literally begging people to push
Yeah.
that button because we were going to fucking obliterate them off
Yeah.
the map.
I want
And
to
that
see
was the thing. We
Let's-
were the greatest
Yeah.
fucking country on the planet. Everybody was scared of us. And that's fine. And that's why I love Trump's mantra. Make America great again. Get us back to that.
The problem
And
is
that
everyone
was
just
the
takes
thing.
that to slavery. It's like, well, you're going to have slaves again? It's like, no. Yeah, it was awesome then. Whatever.
Yeah, and people were, so many of my gay friends legit thought that Trump was going to wipe them off the face of the earth. You vote for Trump, you are literally voting for my death. What happened? Trump got in. None of y'all died. You didn't.
It's the same thing when Obama got elected, and he was like running on not being Bush, but he kept 99% of Bush's policies.
Yeah.
You know, so I get. So one of my customers the other day texted me. He's like, "Hey, what do you think about this one company?" And I said, "Listen, they're a little bit more polished than me, so I get it if like the board wants to go with these people. I get it. But to me, they are shit-tasting candy in a very nice wrapper." And he goes, "I've never heard that expression before." And I said, "Well, you're not going to hear that from those fuckers either." Yeah. I wear V-necks to our meetings, moderately hungover sometimes, but the work is fucking solid, you know?
Yeah.
So if you want to compare my work to their work, let's do that. And I showed him examples, and I far and above outperform these people, but they are very, very polished. And that's what I think like Obama was. That's what the hope with Biden was. Is like, we know that the candy's still going to taste like shit, but at least it's a different wrapper.
Are we in agreement that Biden bought a fuckload of young votes on the premise that he was going to forgive their student loans?
100%.
Dude, is that not a thing?
100%.
And all of a sudden, now all these people are like, "We're fucked, right? We got to pay all this shit back." We're like, "Yeah, motherfucker, you did."
Yeah, so you're
And how many of these stupid motherfuckers are still going to vote for him, though? How many?
I don't know, man. I'm
You
seeing.
can't, how do you can't? I mean, fucking London is a complete and utter fucking bullshit retard. He came just out the other day and just said, "Hey, honestly, now it's time to fucking pay the piper."
It was a great post.
Is Biden fucking doing the best job for this country? Yes or no? And he's like, "I don't want to fucking deal with your answers, this, that, and everything. Yes or no?
Yeah.
That's it."
That's a
And
great
everybody was like, "Fucking no." Well, good. Fucking let the polls show that he is doing a terrible job, and you don't see too many motherfuckers walking around going, "Well, Biden was a shit. He did a great job." Everybody that voted for Biden is scared as fuck right now.
Yeah.
They know he fucked everything up.
It's a little weird. It is a little weird. And I got a couple friends that are like staunch Democrats, and that's fine, and whatever the party gives you, I guess that's how you have to vote,
Okay.
And I don't work that way. Like, to me,
No.
if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can get past Biden, which the party's going to derail him like they did with Bernie and all that, and Tulsi Gabbard. But if, let's say, we can vote for him, or let's say he runs third party, if he runs third party, the Republican's going to win hands down.
As they should, yeah.
Yeah, because he'll split the Democratic vote. Because Robert Kennedy is a Democrat Republican. He's like in the middle, which I think is what the country needs. You don't need
No. Exactly.
like, why do we have to talk about like, oh, well, we need the religious vote? Well, all those fucking people are slowly declining anyways. Like, who cares? If you get knocked up and want to take a coat hanger and shit your unborn baby into the toilet, now that I have kids, I don't understand abortion. When I was 19, if I got to go pregnant, I would really understand abortion. You evolve over time.
And that's the whole thing is this like fucking Democrat, Republican. I told you, and I've talked about this 100 times on this fucking show. I don't know who's who. I don't know the left from the right. I don't know Democrat from Republican. Everybody's like, "Well, you vote, right?" I'm like, "Okay. What did you register as?" The fuck do I know, and why do I care? I want the best person in there. Hey,
So-
guess what? At that point, is it Trump? You okay? I'm gonna vote for him. Great,
This
it's
is
great.
my understanding about how it works. Just this is my Cliff's Notes version of Democrats versus Republican. Democrats are all gay lesbians. No, I'm kidding. So Democrats want bigger government to provide for more people, to help more people, right? That's the moniker, right? But
Okay.
nothing ever gets better. You actually just train poor people to stay poor because they're getting paid. Like, and
Yes.
all these people in San Francisco, which is a good segue in a minute. All these people in San Francisco, all these nice. We're segueing, motherfucker.
Nice.
Are we on
Yes.
segues right now? Are we just riding a Segway?
Fucking Paul Blart, Mall
Look
Cop.
at me. Who's doing this?
Motherfuckers.
All these people that do this shit, like there's an aspect to every living species of like, don't feed the bears, right? You feed the bears,
Yeah.
dependent on your food. I honestly think the welfare system, which my parents, even though they well qualified for it, never would go on, even though we needed it. Like, we needed fucking food, and they're like, fuck that, we're not doing that shit.
Yeah.
You get trained.
We were one income family. My house.
Yeah. You get trained to be dependent on the government. And that's why a lot of people will always vote Democrat, because Democrats are for bigger government. But honestly, the government isn't that great. If you look at anything that's government run, the VA sucks. If you look at city streets, terrible. Public school systems in inner cities, terrible. All that shit is terrible. Why would you trust the government to do anything? I like to think that you should be more. The marketplace should be
enough,
more.
yeah.
The marketplace should be more competitive. So if you have competition, you have people that are knowingly every single day trying to get better, because if they get better, they get more money because they get more customers. In a democratic world, it's all government run, and government employees are literally butthole lickers. Now, I lick buttholes, but I mean that in a large sense of like they're lazy as shit.
And we all know that the system nowadays rewards laziness,
Yes.
and that is a scientific fact. There's the proof is in the pudding. You can just sit there and look at it, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
End this story. I'm like, I am disabled now from work, and I honestly, I want to get back to work, and everybody's like, why? I'm like, because I'm not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I legit want to go fucking back to work. I don't want to sit home with my wife all day. I love my wife. I love having fucking sex during the day. It's great. But I honestly just don't want to glean off the system anymore. I want to go back to work.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. And everybody's like, and I see it at PT a lot too. People are like, you're like the outlier right now. That there's other people in the same situation as me, and they're like, you're head and shoulders above them. I'm like, yeah, because I fucking want to go back to work.
Right.
I want to earn my fucking paycheck. I want to contribute to society. I don't want to just sit there and say, oh, my fucking arm hurts, and not do the fucking exercise. I'm doing exercise and shit at home. I said, my fucking wife walks in the other day, and I got a 20-pound kettlebell hanging off my fucking arm that fucked.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, it's a 15-pound. I'm like, I was holding this for 20 seconds, 20 pounds at PT. She's like, are you okay doing that? I'm like, it fucking burns, but this is what I'm supposed to be fucking
gotta do it.
doing.
Yes, you have to do it.
I'm like, I don't want to do this. Everybody's like, well, you had the whole fucking summer off. Fuck off with that. Seriously. Everybody's like, it's got to be so great. What can I do? I can't fucking golf. I can't play hockey. I can't do all that fun shit. I fucking go to PT and sit here and watch fucking TV all day.
Yeah.
Fuck all that shit. I want to work. That is what is in my fucking system. That's what I'm bred for. It's what I want.
I had a couple of days this week where I was hitting like 13, 14 hours, like just burning it a lot. And so today was a lazy fucking day, mainly because Jerry got me hammered, but everyone was happy. All my customers were good. So like I didn't need to work today. and I still feel like I didn't do my part, even though everything's running. I got ads going for a bunch of different people. Like, I did a lot of work, but I also watched Entourage. I watched like the whole season 5 of Entourage today. So like, but you can't. I think that's why they call it work ethic, because you need some sort of ethics to fucking, have the balls to be like, I could never, even if I was sitting at home with no money, even when I was a couple 4 years ago, I was already launching the plan of what I wanted to do next.
Yeah,
I was building it.
you were pushing that.
It's just what you do. But here's the thing. People get paid to solve problems, right? So if you're paid by the government to solve the problem, it's in your best interest not to solve the problem. And this is why we're going to show you the San Francisco poop map. This is a map where people go on their phone and they show you where all the human poop is on the street.
Like the homeless people just taking deuces on the side of the road.
Yeah. So you'd think, okay, wow, okay, so maybe there's 20 here, okay?
Right,
Sure, right? But if we enhance, all the yellow dots are shit.
That's feces.
Like, so if you want to go down Hyde Street in San Francisco, you're going to be hydroplaning on dumps. Like, that is so much poop.
Yeah.
I think you just shit your pants. Nice.
A little tight one right there. But yeah, I mean, why?
It's crazy.
What's up, Phil, though?
So don't go to the Mission District if you don't want to step in poop. Let's just zoom in a little bit. That's a lot. That's a lot of poop. That's just a lot of poop.
And everybody says, you should go to San Francisco. You gotta check it out. I'm like, but a lot of other people are like, yo, it's nothing but gays. I don't give a fuck about gay people.
Love gays.
But then again,
Phil
that is part of the problem. They say is the fucking homelessness and all the bullshit that is in San Francisco right now. It's like I don't really want to deal with that, right?
Well, I was I was at a bar. No way. I was at a bar, and there's a girl that rents in San Francisco and also works from here. So she flies back and forth a lot.
Okay.
And she's well put together. You can tell she makes a lot of money. And she's like, no, I'm subletting my place in San Francisco now because I'm not doing that shit. Cousin Brenda. She's like, I'm not going to do that shit anymore because she had to go walk her dog at like 3 a.m. because her dog had the shits.
Yeah.
So she goes to like get the dog out of the door. And there's a guy on ketamine or whatever the fuck it was. He's like zombie wavy, like barely standing, right? And he's got a butcher knife. And he's standing right in front of her door.
What are you doing? But yeah, all of a sudden it's 11:45 and my wife walks down here and she's got the fucking dogs going outside. I'm like, yeah, they're fucked.
Daryl's on moonshine.
Stupid fucking puppy, dude. Yeah, I know. She keeps fucking feeding me moonshine. What the fuck's wrong with her? I don't get it, man.
I think she likes the way you do it when you're drunk. They say that.
Why don't you put the half bottle that's in there? Why do you gotta keep fucking doing it? Oh.
They say that 1/3 of all women have rape fantasies. So that's like
my wife don't have that.
33% chance of not getting caught.
What don't I have?
Rape fantasy.
Oh, what?
Rape fantasy.
Ooh.
No.
He said the statistics show that 33% have that. You just want to get the good dick a little bit, right? Occasionally.
Oh, she's got one of those? Is it like
She does not have one of those.
Cool.
No. I don't. That's a very good question for you to ask me.
I did not ask that question. Now, what question was pondered by this motherfucker?
That was me. I didn't ask her directly. I was stating a fact.
Okay.
Stating a fact.
Stating a fact. That's the national average.
This is what's weird too. Like if you look at like, and I know we're starting to get an influx of people from China, but if you look at like average dick size, right?
Here we go. Again, dude, we talked about this a million times.
We did.
It's 5 1/4 inches, I think.
Yeah. If you measure from your butthole,
It's
like a gentleman.
underneath. Yeah, the taint.
Yeah.
You got to go from the bottom of your sack out.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah. So I'm at 4.
because sometimes you can put it all in.
Yeah. And then if you look at like,
You're yelling at the dogs.
I know it's a very professional podcast. That's very mediocre because you hear.
She got one of the puppies just gonna be an asshole. He ain't coming in.
You want a treat? You want a treat? You want cheese?
Want some peanut butter?
Lick my pussy?
Oh, fucking A, dude. He came in. Look out of here, dick licker. Why are you in here? Holy shit, I can't believe he came in. That fucking puppy's a mess. Whatever. Good job, Abe.
Stay black.
Whatever.
You ain't black.
Stay black, Bert.
Yeah. So I personally believe that. So a lot of politicians are in bed with this company called BlackRock. Holy fuck. She talks to
Yeah.
they're fucking people.
Dude, she's
What are we doing?
yeah, she's way far away too. I don't know how
Yeah.
we all heard that.
It's in there. It's in the
Alright, well,
universe.
good.
Now. We're gonna clone her voice now and be like,
That looks real good though.
so if you look at like the value of real estate in San Francisco, do you think honestly? So let's look at this guy real quick. This map. Do you think honestly that they're actually being like, why don't we just devalue all the land, and then our buddies that donate to us are going to go ahead and look, this is all this shit in San Francisco. Now over here you have
Oh, so I see two colors, black and a brown. What do the colors represent?
well, I think the black is a more concentrated shit.
Okay, wait. This is a shit picture.
No, so this is all
Population.
little dots of
Yeah,
so this
yeah.
is all the shits over time, whereas like the map that I showed you originally
Okay,
is real time
So we're
shit.
still on that. All right.
Is real time shits. So if you look at San Francisco, it had one of the highest land values in the country from a per square footage
Okay.
thing, right? So if you look at houses all the time, I look at houses all the time. You want to find a house that's like maybe got $170 a square foot or under, and then you look at some other ones where it's like fucking $325 a square foot. You're like, okay, I'm not gonna buy that. San Francisco is like $400 a square foot. Danny Tanner's house is worth so much money.
Well, because it's at the top of that fucking hill, and it was a premise of a fucking TV show,
Yes.
and it's not very big at all.
No.
It
and,
looks way bigger on TV than it does in person.
and there's houses in
Everybody
there.
said that.
I saw a house for sale like almost like 3 away from that house, and you go in when you look at like the inside pictures, you're like, wow, that's way different than I thought. I thought I was gonna see the full house set. No, not even fucking close. Just from like a bones like layout way, you're like, this is not how this fucking house should look like. If I bought a house like that on that fucking row, even if it wasn't the full house, I still would kind of want it to look like the full house, wouldn't you?
I think that's the whole point, right?
You kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is all the shit over time since the app's been created. The darker is the more shit. So anyway, all the politicians are kind of in bed with this company BlackRock. BlackRock is actually buying residences, and then they rent the residences out because it's almost impossible for you to buy a house now in San Francisco because you need a lot of money. So wouldn't it be? It's not far-fetched to think that somebody says from BlackRock goes, hey, why don't you make it really hard for homeless people to get moved out of this place? And then it's going to force a lot of people that have children and shit like that. They don't want to go in the backyard and someone's doing heroin in your backyard.
Yeah, you don't want that.
They're going to want to sell their house. And then maybe my company swoops in and we buy that house and then we rent it.
Okay, so
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
So politicians get kickbacks from BlackRock or whatever that is, like the fucking funding or whatever the fucking word is, right? They are knowingly doing this to this fucking place.
That's
That's my theory. I might be wrong.
could
I'm
be
wrong.
very, very, very illegal, right?
Not really, because you're what's
be.
what's the thing where you're a person that donates money and you do lobby
The boosters.
so the lobbyists
Or
for
that, yeah.
BlackRock go to the politicians and be like, you know what, we really don't think it's right to arrest and lock up homeless people. We think it's wrong. And then so those politicians, they change their tune a little bit. They're like, you know what, it's not illegal to be homeless. It's sad, but it's not illegal.
Yeah.
And so they just let it happen. There are parts of LA that are just so fucking fucked up that you're like, this is Tinseltown, baby. This is like Vinny Chase Entourage going to the Ivy. And it's just everyone's on meth there or whatever, mescaline or whatever the fuck they're on. It's crazy. What are we doing to America, baby?
We are completely and utterly fucking America is what we're doing. Right?
It's a little nuts.
God damn it, Phil. Yeah, the cucumber lady is, yeah. She did well, and I even brought one of the cucumbers inside. There was a bad end to it. Just chopped it up.
Shop
and
online
it was
or your
really
neighborhood
fucking
Sherwin-Williams store.
Yeah.
good.
We got corn going. This is like
along Masonic Street between Geary and Euclid. Members of the San Francisco Department of Emergency Management, in coordination with the Healthy Streets Operations Center,
Why does
are
every
working
news
to
person
provide
talk like that?
services to the roughly 7,500 unhoused people in the
Unhoused.
Overall, I think a week we
they're not homeless now. They're now unhoused.
They're unhoused, yeah. And it's apparently that's other people's problems. I'm like, wait a second, man.
They're not crazy. They're logic averse. Yeah, can you imagine trying to go down the street with your kids like this?
What the fuck? I mean,
And you know what? We need to bring serial
Unhoused.
killers back. Like Dexter would fix this in a minute. You know?
it'd be a couple minutes, but yeah.
Sure. Maybe 10 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewrite Dexter. I'm gonna bring him back, and he's just gonna kill homeless people for shitting on streets. Maybe he's reformed. I never watched Dexter, but
I didn't either. I heard it was good.
heard it was great. But here's the deal. Maybe Dexter moves to San Francisco just to kind of clear his head a little bit. And he's having a great day. He has a nice cup of coffee, walks out of his house, and he steps in human shit. And then that fucking triggers the fucking shit, right? And now Dexter cleans up San Francisco because he's killing all the homeless people or the unhoused people.
Unhoused, yeah. What the
Yeah.
fuck you do there?
I'd watch it. I'd watch it in a second. It's just crazy. Or like people are actually leaving their windows down in some of these places.
Just because.
So,
Yeah.
because you know they're going to rob your car anyways, and at least you don't have to buy windows.
You don't have to buy a window. Yeah.
Fucking sane. Insane. We live in a bizarro world. Yeah, you got to walk in the road. You got to walk in the road to get by. Can you imagine having
Yeah.
kids in fucking San Francisco right now?
Nope.
No way.
I mean, and that's even going on here. Everybody's talking about like, hey, with the keys and shit. Just fucking don't lock your doors. I'm like, wait a second. At what point is that ever okay?
You know what I would do? Let's say hypothetically that Krista buys a Kia.
Okay.
We had a Kia for a long time. It ran great, 200,000 miles on it. Never had a problem with it, really. I mean, we bought tires, we bought a battery, and I think I bought an alternator for it, and that's it. Over 200,000 miles, right? But let's say all these assholes are like breaking into fucking Kias. I get it. That's fine. But our Kia, we're going to rig, and it's going to be hooked up to a car battery on the fucking door handles. So the second you touch it, your dumb asshole is going to prolapse, and then I'm going to tie you up in the basement, and Dexter's going to come over, and he's going to cut your head off.
You're going to jail.
That's fine.
You are going to jail.
No, they won't find him.
No. You're going to go to jail for that, which is the fucked up part about this.
Yeah.
Because people nowadays are like, you value your possessions more than our human life.
100%.
Yes, I do, motherfucker. I legit went to work. I worked for this. this is the shit that I own. And if you just knock on my door and just waltz in the door, there's a good chance you're gonna get a fucking shotgun blast to the chest.
Yeah.
What? At what point do you
I didn't
value
force you to walk
your life over, $400 in jewelry? At what point do you value your life over that?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is a lot of these motherfuckers just don't care.
I
But
didn't
guess
tell
what?
you to walk into my house. I didn't tell you to go to my car. I didn't tell you to like do any of that shit. The second you do, it should literally be like martial law at that point. Fuck it.
It needs to be, and that's the way a lot of it is. And the people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you would value that your possessions over another human life." Wrong, motherfucker. Wrong. At any point, you knock on my fucking door, you push any sort of button to put harm near my family, I am putting fucking every hole I can into you.
Nice.
I value my family. That was the whole thing when that Black Lives Matter shit happened here. I sat on my fucking chair with a shotgun in my lap with double aught buckshot, backed up by a slug, backed up by fucking birdshot, waiting for some motherfucker to rattle that fucking doorknob. And guess what's going to happen? Boom, boom, boom. Explain it to the cops why you are trying to break into my house.
So in New York,
Explain
that's fully inside your house.
I didn't, at that point, I did not give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. So in North Carolina, if they are trying to break into your house, you can shoot them through the door.
Yes.
In some states, they got to be entirely in the house.
Yeah, there's a rule here where, you can't get them in the back or whatnot. But I'm like, listen, they are destroying the city.
Yeah.
If they want to come down another half mile or so and fucking rattle my doorknob, to me, that is you trying to take something from me. And I felt for my life. I was scared for my life. And I was ready to fucking just pop, lock, and drop it right then and there.
Well, so in
Let's
some
go.
states as well, and I don't know if New York has it. I don't know if Illinois has it either. But if you feel threatened, you can defend your life, right? So
It's the stand your ground
Stand your ground,
law, which is Florida, but yeah, we don't have it here.
the key is to be like, you have to scream, I feel
Threatened, yeah.
I feel threatened.
I'm
And
scared
then
for my life. Yeah.
You said
Why do I need to do that?
it's insane.
Yeah. Like, no,
And it's
man,
because everyone wants to feel bad about something, right? So like, but like none of these people want to like fix any of the problems. They actually
add
encourage
to it.
Which is really weird.
Yeah.
Like
It's
they
insane.
encourage the shitty behavior, and it doesn't need to be that way. It just doesn't.
No.
We're like, in general, most people are just fucking cool. Most people are cool. But when they're continuously getting pumped all this shit, like, oh, you don't have it as good as X and all this other shit. It's like, well, I mean, X has to work. X works a lot.
So I'm X.
Yeah, and then you dare fucking come to my house and fucking try to steal something? Fuck you.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, that was the whole thing there, and all that. It's like we just sat back and just waited. That was all it was. And it was like, but why are you doing it? I'm like, because I'm not an asshole. I'm not going out hunting people. But if you fucking come to my house and want to do this, you're gonna, as they say nowadays, fuck around and find out.
Well, that's the whole like shit with that try it in a small town. I'm not a country music guy, but it's kind of funny that there's a million songs about shooting and fucking raping and all this other shit, right? And then this is the most racist song ever?
That's where they want to, that's the hill you guys want to die on? All right, great.
Sure. The guy basically made a song that said, don't set small towns on fire because you will fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
And he's racist. Go fuck your mother.
Like, so many people are like,
I don't get it, man.
explain to me what part of this song's racist. And nobody could find
It is so stupid. I just don't get it.
It's just the way things are these days, and it's so fucking sad that that's what we're doing.
Well,
It
everything
really is.
sensationalized. You know, that's a whole other thing too. It's
Yeah.
like if it's not sensationalized, then it's not going to get clicks. If it doesn't get clicks, it doesn't get revenue. If it doesn't get revenue, then everyone goes out of business. So it's like they're only pushing the worst shit up,
Yeah.
no matter what. And it, to me,
Everybody's like, they're trying to cancel what the fuck, Jason Aldean or whatever. But everybody's like, well, he didn't get canceled. He fucking blew up and
Yeah.
everything went fucking sideways from there, and he's top of the charts and all that shit. And
good.
there's so many people are just like, I can't tell you how many reels on what do you call it? On Facebook Reels. They're like, black people are like, wait, what part of the song's racist?
Right.
What
right.
part of any of this is bad? And nobody could find anything wrong with it. It's like, what the fuck? I don't get it. I just don't. Everybody's just looking for the bad in everything good or everything that comes out.
But like legit bad people get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up. It's like, so the good people that say, hey, maybe we shouldn't burn down our own towns. Maybe you shouldn't be a Black Lives Matter protester and damage a black-owned business to the point where they can never reopen. Maybe we just shouldn't do that, you know?
You would think so, right?
But that's racist. But then somebody that is a legit bad person that punches a grandma and throws her in front of a subway, that's the guy that gets the benefit of the doubt. Like the one dude, the guy in New York City that was shown to take a girl by the back of her shirt and throw her head first into a subway while people were getting on it, right? That's not attempted murder. Okay?
Nope.
In the subway, like on the train, the guy starts going, I'm going to fucking kill everyone. The guy is being a dick. And so a soldier goes and grabs him and chokes him, and the guy dies. The
Guess what
soldier's in
happens?
jail.
Yep.
When the guy legit attempted, like, if I'm walking down the street with a broomstick and I tap someone in the head, that could be attempted murder.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't get why bad people are getting the benefit of the doubt and good people don't.
It's the way the world is right now. It's so fucking stupid.
It's so
How so many fucking shitty people are now also the victim. Well, you're not the fucking victim. You're the fucking problem here. Can we not see it for what it is at some point? Can we not? Can we not look past like black, white, whatever? Can we not look past it and just stop and say, you're the fucking problem?
Black
What
people.
you're doing is wrong.
I'm just kidding. Usually we have a black person here, so I
Oh, yeah. Whoopsie.
singled out completely. No, it's insane to me. And most of the people I hang out with we hang out with a very diverse group of people, and everyone's just cool with each other, and everyone talks shit, and it's always great. But man, you could tell there's some really, even with my friends, there's some really touchy subjects.
Yeah.
And it's because like everyone's kind of brainwashed. I'm brainwashed to think that if I think a certain way, I have the right to think a certain way. And they're brainwashed to think that if anyone's talking this way, it automatically means the worst possible thing it could mean. Like the last time I checked, the KKK like doesn't have rallies and they don't burn crosses anymore. Like, I think from a total racism vibe, we're pretty low on the scale, you know?
Yeah, it's I mean, I think from Bad Boys 1 or 2, I think that was the last time we ever really heard of those douchebags.
Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
They're fucking almost irrelevant.
I mean, to me, like, I wouldn't join the KKK because, like, it's predominantly in the South and you got to wear an entire bed sheet. It just seems really hot.
And stupid, too.
Like, I get most of the stuff they're saying. But it just seems really uncomfortable.
Yeah, something I really don't want to be a part of.
Sheer temperature alone, I wouldn't do it.
If we're going off that, yeah, 100%.
It just seems real hot.
Yeah, it's all warm and shit. We don't want anything to do with that.
I need a break from this.
Then after that, then there's other ways, but yeah.
Are you make the bed in the morning guy,
Nope.
or are you not?
No.
Is Krista make the bed in the morning person? Or not?
No, not at all.
I'm with a bed has to be made in the morning person.
I understand it. I get why
I get it.
people would, but I'm 100% against it. I'm like, we're just gonna fuck this up in a few hours, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
get it.
It's kind of a weird thing. And I would assume that more successful people probably get up and have a regimen and they make their bed.
Very plausible.
But then there's people like me that are complete degenerate idiots. Like my office is a shit show. I've scrapped pieces of paper everywhere. I have paper all over the floor. And Tanya will, bless her heart, come into my office sometimes and clean it. And it looks beautiful. And I feel really terrible because I know in 2.5 days it's going to look like the goddamn pigsty it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about that. Same thing as like when we go to like Vegas or on a trip somewhere. It's like, do we need somebody to come in and clean our room? Or like,
I always say no.
yeah, I mean, I don't need all this shit. And we're like, well, hey, we just did, the nasty in the bed. The bed's a mess. Whatever. But I'm like, why do we need it clean? Because we're just gonna do it again tonight and leave it alone. So I don't know. I don't know about that. I definitely not a make your bed thing. I remember when I was younger, that was the big thing. Make your bed. Do this, make your bed, and whatnot. So
Did you have a lot of chores growing up? Like,
I had some, yeah. I'm not gonna say I didn't have any, but yeah, I did. Simple shit too. It wasn't like it was ever really bad. It was just simple shit.
Keith's family had like a regimen of shit. I remember, and my parents were, and dare I say this, back in the 80s, being liberal was a different tone than it is now,
Yeah.
But my parents were very liberal. And I remember thinking how unconscionable it was to want to go to my cousin's house, especially with Keith and Micah, and play. Like,
Yeah.
these used to be a word that made sense to kids, to people now. Like, we're past that age, obviously, because we're in our 40s and shit. But like, remember, just like, do you want to come over and play?
Yeah.
What the? Now in my life, that means like orgy stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Like if someone goes, "Hey, do you want to come over and play?" I'm like, "Gee, okay. Where's the Viagra at?"
Yeah.
But back in the day, it was just I wanted to play with my cousin, and he'd be like, "All right, cool. You can go upstairs in my room and play with GI Joe shit.
Yeah.
I have to do this, do this, do this, do this." Billy was outside chopping wood. This is
fuck he was.
he
He was out back behind a shed fucking drinking beer.
yeah,
Fucking
probably.
Billy.
He was the best. I'd love to get him on the podcast.
Oh God.
He's going to be 70, I think, this year.
Yeah.
And he was told he was.
I don't think he's that old.
He is.
No way.
Yeah, I think it was 68 like 2 years ago, which
Really?
by math that means he's
I
going to
mean, just
he was supposed to live to 24. That's it.
yeah. I mean, there was days when we had to like eat our food. It's like that was back in the day where finish your fucking food or you ain't going outside.
I do firmly.
And I can tell you there was days when my mom would fucking put spinach out there, and I would sit there and watch my friends throw the fucking football across the fucking yard and just watching it spiral out of control. And I couldn't go out because I didn't eat my spinach because it was fucking god awful.
Right.
And my dad said, "Eat it while it's warm. It's gonna get fucking worse." Well, guess what?
He was right, 100%.
100%. It was fucking terrible. But I just remember those days of just going to fucking play, and that was what it was.
Do you have any weird family tradition? I'll tell you mine, and maybe you have one. I didn't know this when I went to my friend's house and we had fish. Okay, I don't know what kind of fish or whatever it was, but we had fish. I ate the fish, and then I said, "Okay, so where do we go and hang out when the fish ferry comes? And they're like, what? So we had something called a fish ferry. Have you ever heard of this?
Nope. This is
And
fucking
I don't know-
news.
Okay. So the fish ferry, when I was a kid, you eat your fish, you eat all your fish, right?
Huh?
Fish fry, could be whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And then you go and watch TV for a little bit, and then my parents would come in and say, okay, the fish ferry came. And then you go out to the driveway, and you go and find money in the driveway.
What kind of weird fucking Jews were you?
I don't know. But, like, do you have anything, like...
Nope. Nothing close to that.
I wouldn't even say it was a family tradition, but it was, like, a weird thing that we... So, even, like eggs, right? I went to go and my first sleepover ever. In the morning, I woke up and the mom goes, "Well, what do you want for breakfast?" And I was like, "Well, I like toast with dippy eggs." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Dippy eggs." And she's like, "I don't know what that is." And so I had to call my mom and put my mom on the phone. And she's like, "Oh, it's fucking sunny side up." Okay, you obviously you can have that. Yeah. But like, did you have anything weird for your family where you had your own term, like? I guess it's like its own terminology for something that didn't make sense with anybody else.
Yeah, no, I never had any of that. Yeah,
I know like a lot of families are different with like Christmas traditions and shit like that.
Yeah, no, damn.
But yeah, we had a fish ferry. You eat fish. You go watch fucking Transformers or G.I. Joe at 6:00. And then magically there's money in the driveway by this bitch that comes by. Fucking
no, not at all, man. Never.
And I feel bad that I don't have those kind of traditions with my kids, like something weird and unique that we can just like do or whatever, you know.
I get that shove. I mean, I tried to raise my children as I was raised, but it didn't take long to figure out that world is no longer here.
Yeah,
and they get it to a point. They're both like, okay, I get it. And they're okay with it to a point, but it's like, you know, I'm still dealing with my parents having to deal with the kids at night wanting to watch their iPad at night before they go to bed.
Sure. Yep.
So yes, we didn't do that back then, but nowadays they do. And I'm like, listen, it's at the end of the night. They get to watch the fucking videos and they pass out real quick. So
I do a cutoff an hour before bedtime, no electronics. And they can go watch a show, but they can't be on iPads or phones and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good. I mean, ours are just, it is what it is, but fuck.
Do you know, so the aspect of time travel, real quick, is if someone were to build a time travel device right now, okay, it would have to be compatible with something that was built. So technically what they're saying is if someone builds the ability to time travel, you may be able to go to the future because the thing is built now, but you can't go to the past, right? So everyone says, what would you do with time travel? Would you go see dinosaurs or would you go kill baby Hitler? Whatever it is, right? But you can't do that. But let's just say hypothetically in 1960, the receptor for that time travel device was built in its house somewhere. So you have from 1960 to today and also in the future. I think in the future is kind of fucked, right? Because it's only going to get weirder, right? What era would you choose to bring your kids to time travel to? Would you want to bring your kids back to the 80s? Would you want to bring your kids back to the 90s? Tell me the year that you would want your kids to grow. Tell me the decade that you want your kids to grow up in.
1978.
It was a good year. You have a very tight butt.
I know.
I'll fix that. 1970.
Yeah, I would like bring my kids back to the fucking 70s where we were just outside all the time. No fucking bullshit. Just get outside and fucking play.
I was explaining to Olivia what it was like growing up in East Aurora where I lived because like those are really big blocks, you know? So like the block of Oakwood before the cemetery all the way up Center Street is a big ass block.
Yeah.
And so we had hundreds of kids in that area. And you never knew who your friends were, but you'd see all the bikes, you know? It was great. Now it's organized play dates and all the shit, right? So it's like I found myself selling her on a time that didn't exist anymore, and I felt very bad for her.
I was in the same boat, man.
It sucks.
I didn't know what to do. I was caught in this no man's land. Like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm like, I'm trying to raise my kids as I was. I'm like, deathly afraid of fucking letting your parents down because you're gonna get your ass kicked. You're gonna get fucking your butt spacked.
Right.
All that shit. And it's like, then it got to that point where it's like, that life just doesn't exist anymore. What the fuck?
I've allegedly spanked my kids, Olivia maybe twice ever, Max maybe like 10 times ever. And I would get it every fucking day. I would do something wrong.
But I haven't done, not at all. Never needed to. Brady probably twice.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
It
Boys
is
are a different animal, and I think
they are, man.
Is having a girl first. So my parents had a luxury because they had me first, and I'm a crazy person. Always have been, always will be. Can you imagine like my brain at fucking 8?
Nope.
Terrible. My mom always sometimes brings it up. She's like, you would get in trouble. I'm like, okay. But then you would convince me and show me the reasoning by which you got in trouble. And then I would never ground you because you. Yeah. I think I missed my call. I think I should have been a lawyer. Because I say allegedly a lot. And that works. But like,
Man,
my parents had the
we
luxury.
got our asses kicked all the time back then.
If you have a girl
popped
first,
off, it was, you got a beating.
but you did this too. You had a girl first, and girls are just absolute princesses. They never want to.
Aubrey just, goddamn, I was like, can we just stick with this?
And then a
no,
boy
let's have
shows up
fucking
and you're like-
Satan's dick hole shows up, and I'm like, fuck.
Having a boy is like you have a nice village with a big wall, and everything's great inside the village, right?
Did we not want? Did you not just after having a girl first? You want a boy, right? You want that. You want that swinging dick. You want that fucking the namesake of your family to follow in those. For just that's what you want.
Yep.
And even Chris was like, when we got pregnant again with Brady, she's like, "What's happening? What would happen right now if you had another girl?" I'm like, as long as she's healthy, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
She's like, are you sure? I'm like, 100%. I don't give a fuck right now.
Yep.
If I end up being girl dad and I got 2 chicks, it is what it is. I don't really care. I had a boy. When I found out, I was fucking ecstatic. But man, are they fucking cunts.
But then someone leaves the door to the village open, and this fucking the barbarians come in, and they're just pissing all over the seats and shit.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Chris is like, yo, you gotta talk to your son. I'm like, why? She's like, he just walks in the bathroom, picks up his shirt, and just pisses everywhere. I'm like, so now I gotta talk to him about how you actually grab your dick and aim it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, here we go. I guess we gotta talk about this. So
I took Max in the bathroom one time and put a Cheerio and floated it in the toilet, and she's like, "You need to hit that thing."
Yeah, just aim it.
Before you would hear him go to the bathroom, and you hear him hit the shower curtain first. You're like, "What are you doing, man?"
Where are you going?
Yeah, you got to calibrate that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a boy first, I think my parents were at obviously a disadvantage because I was a shitty kid with colic and shit, whatever. But then the girls show up, and obviously my dad liked the girls better.
Yeah.
It wasn't a daily panic attack.
No.
I had a stretch in the summer. One summer, we had a babysitter, and she was really hot. Okay.
I love those.
And I had the biggest crush on this chick, right? And
I will too.
so, and she was like, I think I was 7, maybe, and it was summer. And so she'd take me to the park in East Aurora, whatever. And then all of a sudden she had a boyfriend that would come over. His name was Glenn. Because it was
Fuck you, Glenn.
And we were at McDonald's in East Aurora one time.
Circle, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I got a Happy Meal, and then she got me. Back in the day, they had sometimes they had soft serve ice cream at McDonald's.
Yeah.
in the 80s,
That's
right?
when the machine worked.
Yes, yeah, allegedly. We should name it a podcast allegedly. Rebrand.
Nope.
So I'm at McDonald's with my babysitter, and it's hot babysitter and her stupid fucking boyfriend with a fucking rat tail, cock blocker. And I'm eating my ice cream, and she hit the bottom of my hand, and my ice cream went in my face. Okay. And I was livid. How could this person that I'm going to grow up and marry do that to me in front of this fucking guy, right? And I'm talking like I'm maybe 7, right? So my parents get home, and
I was pushing double digits when I had a crush on my babysitter. I was like 10 or 11.
my parents were sitting in the kitchen, and my mom and dad always had coffee at weird times. So it's maybe 7:00 at night, and I'm fuming from earlier in the day, right? So we had already dinner. I watched G.I. Joe and all this shit. I come back in, and I'm like, we need to fire her. My dad's like, why? This is my problem with women in general, right? This is why I need to be liked. I need to be number 1, right? So I'm like, she did this, then this fucking guy shows. Like,
Yeah.
fucking.
He's got a fucking guitar. Fuck
Yeah.
this guy, right?
Got a rat tail? What kind of girl would date a guy with a fucking rat tail? You know? And I go, Dad, she hit an ice cream cone and hit my face. And he's like, okay. And he's like, was she mean about it? I'm like, no, they laughed. And he goes, well, who laughed? I'm like, her and her boyfriend. They were laughing. Oh, so Glenn was here. And my dad kind of knew Glenn, and he was cool with everyone and stuff like that. And I'm like, you need to fire her. I refuse to be babysat by this chick. And he legit fired her. Because I was a lover scorned, you know? I was let down by the woman I love. I was emasculated in front of fucking...
all together in just one fucking big loop. Fuck this.
And that is a lot of my trauma. I think I bring that to every relationship now. But it's so funny. I remember where they were sitting. Like, I have a weird, I don't have a photographic memory of like being able to read a book and like be able to recite all the words on the book. But I have like a memory photographic thing. I can remember what they were wearing. I can remember where they were sitting. I remember the time of the day. I remember all that stuff very vividly. All the way back until I was probably 3. For some reason, I have that kind of memory.
Good for you, man.
Well, I mean, which is probably like when I write very vividly. Like a lot of the ways that I write is like very vivid.
Yeah.
But I remember going like, "Fuck no!" What 7-year-old walks in a room and is like, you need to fire that babysitter? She wasn't molesting me because I would have kept that hush hush like a motherfucker, right?
Dude, wouldn't we all back then?
Yeah.
It's like that was the dream, right? The whole white snake thing is like, I'm 13 years old, fucking Tawny Katane, whatever. It's so hot.
This chick was like,
who the fuck am I telling at this point?
This chick was Tawny Katane, hot, and she was probably 17 years old, and I loved her. And
I was in that same boat, bro. Whew. God damn.
In that span of this week, of this weird week I had, having a boy, and I think Sarah was born at this point as well. I was hanging upside down on monkey bars by my legs, and my legs gave out. I fell, smashed my head on the ground.
Blood moving around.
So I'm bleeding everywhere, right?
Place.
So she gets a leaf because she's an incompetent babysitter anyways, but she was hot, so it passed. And we're clotting the blood with leaves. So then the next day, she's chasing me at the playground. I'm running away from her, and I run headfirst into a fucking pole. So basically I had 3 concussions in a week. So then I was hospitalized for a week at Children's Hospital in Buffalo.
It's just your fault.
Yeah, all my fault. We didn't fire her for that, and I didn't want her to be fired for that. She got fired because she hit me. She tapped an ice cream cone in my face because I loved her. She let me down. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, my whole thing was when I hit 12, 13, whatever, and the babysitter was an absolute smoke show.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And I think I professed my love to her.
You have to.
She's like, the best part about the whole thing was we were honestly like 3 or 4 years apart. But back then, it was way too fucking much.
Yeah.
Way too much. But I'm like, and it was the feathered hair,
Yeah.
the sweater that fit just right. And I'm just like,
Some shit just hits differently. So I've been watching a lot of early 2000s programs. And I am absolutely obsessed with the way that women would dress back then.
yeah.
Because that was at the height of my girl getting time, like 99 to 2004 was just, I was in my prime, I think, whatever. I don't know if people like me have a prime. I was in the not yawn phase of my fucking existence, right?
I got some pictures I got to send you.
Yeah.
My friend growing up, she was here and then she moved to Florida, and she came back up this week to visit. I'll send you this Facebook Messenger from her,
Nice.
and it's a couple pictures. And I fucking click on it. I'm like, where the fuck did you get these? These are admissible. I can't have this shit out,
Nice.
And I immediately saved them and sent them to my wife. Chris is like, where did these come from? I'm like, my friend Brooke's in town. She's obviously hanging out with our fucking friends, and this is where we're at. And she's like, holy fuck. And I'm like,
And that's great too.
part of me is like, I want to send them to you so
Yeah.
you can fucking completely shit on me.
Yes.
But then there's the other part of me is like, I was a completely different person. I mean, the one picture I thought was fucking great was me in a leather jacket.
Nice.
You and I were at Grodik's fucking Christmas party, and like I had my hair done, and we're like how fucking young we looked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like Chris is like, how fucking old were you? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, holy fuck, you have gold hoop earrings? I'm like, yeah. So I was in my fucking 20s here. She's like, oh my God, this is great. I'm like, but it's not. I'm like, fuck, I'm probably gonna have to send these the ball at some point.
Each year you kind of let's say each decade you kind of like erase the last decade and you go into the new one and you kind of become a new person. And it's cool. Like a lot of people grow. I used to not a point of contention in my marriage was this. You chose to marry me and you knew who I was and I didn't change. When a lot of people, when they do get married, they fucking take their nuts out, they give it to their wife, and the wife puts it in the fucking cabinet and locks it up, and then everyone forgets the fucking code. And the guy is this like, for better lack of a term, a fairy for the chick. And I got to word this the right way. I'm glad I'm the way I am, but I also wish I could have acquiesced who I was and just go, okay, I'll be whoever you want me to be as long as you're with me. It's kind of a weird thing to think about, right? But we get in arguments sometimes. I'm like, but I'm the same way I was when you met me. I'm the same.
And that's the thing too, is like even the day you told me you were getting married and this is your girlfriend and I'm proposing to her and we were at Checkers.
Yep.
You haven't fucking changed.
No.
And that is the best thing too, is like even Krista goes, you're a complete and utter fuckwad. She goes, but you haven't changed.
No.
She goes, you showed me who you are. You haven't changed. She goes, you're pushing 50. And everything's the same. I'm like, I refuse to grow up. She's like, and she goes, that's part of the allure to this is you haven't fucking changed.
No.
I said, I'm not going to. You can't change me. I don't give a fuck everything. I said, I'm still going to be that person. When Bob's in town, I'm going to be X. When I'm doing this, I'm still going to be X. When we're hanging out with our parent, I'm still going to be X. This is what you get all the fucking time.
But like,
You don't like it. You didn't have to say yes when we got married. You didn't.
Ooh, I don't want that.
And a lot of people were like,
could you honestly?
hey, man, how did you rope her into it? I go, I didn't.
Yeah.
She had every chance to say no that day.
Yep.
Even my dad was trying to get her to fucking run away.
I remember.
As Dad's like,
Going down
the
the aisle.
limo's right
Yeah.
here. And because he knows I'm a fucking retard.
Yeah.
And Krista stood by me from day one, and I'm an asshole.
But would
But
you?
she knows what she's getting though. And that's the best part about it. She knows what she's getting.
This is also what I don't get though. Like I've never dated someone. That's kind of a lie. I've dated someone where, let's say, they smoke cigarettes and stuff like that, right? And I don't care if somebody smokes, but this one girl I was dating, she had like breathing problems, and then she's also smoking. I'm like, okay, well, I can't love you and take care of you when you have an asthma attack if you're also smoking Marlboro Reds, you know, when you drink. So you need to cut that shit out. But like, I've never dated anyone who was like, no, you need to change completely.
No.
Well, like, how could you trust somebody that changes for the relationship?
And a lot of people have asked Krista that. You're like,
Yeah.
you got to fix him. She's like, what? She's like, there's no fucking way he's going to change. This is what I signed up for. This is what I'm getting. I'm like, yeah. Here it is. I mean, there ain't much to it, and that's what you get. And she's been fucking great about it. And I told her 100 times, I'm like, listen, this is the best thing is you never once said I'm gonna try to fix you. I'm gonna try to change things.
Yeah.
Because you're not. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I'm never fucking growing
I've
up.
gotten in arguments because like I see, you know, like with Tanya's family, there's every guy is like Chuck is Chuck, and her brother's her brother is, and Shane, who's a really great guy, is her brother-in-law, and you know, I'm like, you know, personally, I think you'd be happier with somebody that's more like Shane, and she's like, no, I wouldn't. I'm like a Ferrari. Every now and then, we're gonna spin out of control and hit a guardrail, and Paul Walker's gonna die. It's just,
I'm like the same way with Chris though.
it's just the way it is. But like, the good times are way better than the
bad.
than the bad times.
And that's the whole thing too, is that even Kristen knows, and we've attested to this a million times during our friendship.
Yep.
She was there the day our friendship legit got cemented.
Yep.
And she knew right there, she's like, kind of fuck, because you're gonna be best friends with this guy and we're kind of stuck with him, right? I'm like, yeah. And dude, I can't tell you how many times I refer to you as her brother. I'm like, your fucking brother's coming to town, and she legit knows what I'm talking about, and we're gonna stop everything.
Yep.
And that's where it's gonna be.
Yep. Yeah. It's just funny how shit works, because I had, you know, people I considered to be really, really good friends, and then they get in relationships. And, you know, like, I've heard that one of our friends, I won't mention his name, but like, his wife's relationship was going a certain way, and they were drinking a lot, and then he decided to stop drinking, and I'm happy for him, you know, and that's great.
Yeah.
And I hope he's doing well, but you know, I'm always, my foot is always floored to the fucking bottom on that fucking gas pedal. It's just the way it fucking is. You know, and
like, you motherfuckers are all gas, no brakes. I know. She's like, as soon as I tell her, and that's one thing I've actually been better about now, is telling her that you're coming into town instead of like, surprise, the kid's coming into town next week, and we got to do it. She's like, motherfucker. So now she just knows, and we've known that she's been the third wheel with us.
always,
She'll go out and fucking drink her face off with us and party.
yeah,
And we don't have a problem with that. But it is it is great that she just knows what we're getting into, and that's that.
The plus part with all that kind of shit too is like, if your friend's wife is also your friend, you're doing great. Like Miles and his wife, like if he gets called into work, probably the first year I was here, we had this plan, and Miles, he gets on call a lot, right? So he might work 10 hours, he might work no hours, right? So we go to this baseball game, and you sit on this hill of grass, and you can bring a blanket and
like in the outfield.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's great. Right. And the kids are running around, and they're doing their own thing, and everything's safe and great. And the second we get all the things set up, his phone rings. He has to go in. And normally, with anybody else's like wife, you'd be like, "Well, that's it. We're just, like, pack up, go home, whatever. And she's like, I made a gallon of Bloody Marys. Like, so we should just do that. So her and I got absolutely sideways on Bloody Marys, had the best time ever. And when he got out of work, he came back because she's also my friend. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I think in Buffalo, and again, I wasn't around people that were married very much. I think London was the only person. No, I drove up. I drove up when London got married. So we were never really around like people that were married,
Yeah.
you know, but like you would never consider, oh, okay, well, he's at work. So me and his girlfriend are going to go out and then meet up.
Yeah.
Because
That was never a thing.
But you know, now it is like, let's say you're at work, like she's like, no, I'm going to meet you out at 8 and Daryl gets out at 11 and we're going to fucking hang out. Like, great. Cause it's not a thing. It's not a weird sexual thing, but she's legit one of my friends, you know? It's kind of funny. As long as she doesn't push a fucking ice cream cone in my mouth, I'm good. Cause I will get that bitch.
Dude, it was so fucking funny. The other weekend, she was, I think it was while we were in Batavia last weekend. I was telling her, I said, you have a fucking towel. And she's like, what are you talking about? I says, the towel when you're drunk. I says, I guess I've known it for a while, but
the punch.
I says, Bomb fucking let me know 100% sure it was at the Queen of Heaven night. She's like, what are you talking about? I was, things were bad that night. I'm like, yeah, but I go, you in the fucking air punch. You're like,
yeah.
Ah! And I'm like, you're like super hammered. You're just like, pow. And I'm like, that's your fucking towel. She's like, there's no way. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, you do it all the time. And then the other night we were drunk and she pulled it on me, just busting my balls.
Yeah.
And I go, you're drunk. She's like, maybe. But I'm like, that's a fucking thing. It's so funny.
Yeah.
She left that night and you looked at me, you're like, Chris is tough. She's drunk. She does the fake punch thing.
Yep.
I'm like, this is so fucking great.
Yep.
And dude, she hates to know that, but it's
when
so
you,
fucking
when you call
great.
me, so I know I can only pick up towels in non-poker because I'm a moron. I wish I had that skill in poker. But like, you'll call me and be like, hey man, it's like 12:38. I'm like, okay, he's hammered, you know, because it's just the way it is. I love that shit.
You're like, Chris's drunk towel is the fake punch. She's like, pow.
She kept clipping me in the fucking chin. I'm like, what are we doing?
And it barely touches you too.
I know.
She's fucking wrecked. And I'm like, well, there it is, everyone.
It's the best. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm going to be up all week. So,
And I even told her too. I says, Bomb's coming for the whole week. I'm like, let's find something to do with the kids. Mom and dad are actually going camping at another campground.
okay.
So the creek's open. I'm like, but if you and the fam want to go out and play in the fucking water, we can just pack a cooler. We can go out and play in the fucking water. The kids can splash around. You can have a couple beers, whatever. And I told Chris, I said, this is the night that, we might, the four of us, just let's go out and get drunk or whatever. And like, we got to find a time. And it's like Saturday, we're going to do the podcast, so.
Yep. So Friday might be the go out night, just if you want to have like a babysitter and stuff like that, right? That's
we have a podcast at Saturday at 11, so just be fucking ready.
But also during the week, I was going to hit you up a couple of times, and if you want, because we're going to be like not too far away from you, so if we want to grab the kids and go to dinner or something like that a couple of times, that'd be great. Just hang out. But I'm so excited because today I pick up the kids, and they were in an air conditioned school all day, like at they do this thing called Kids Club, and they go outside and they're like, holy, it is hot. I'm like, yeah, right now it is 95, but it feels like 107 or whatever it was. And so I was like, let's look at Buffalo. It is 78 in Buffalo, feels like 81. So
the humidity is fucking stupid right now.
But it was like 22 degrees cooler in the feels like category. I'm like, it's going to be so fun to just be outside. So we were going to take Tanya's car. We're going to take the Jeep so we can pull the top back a little bit. And, my kids want to see the Erie Canal, so I'm going to take them up through Pendleton. We might grab some ice cream in Pendleton, go to Lockport for a minute and stuff like that. But so we're going to be all over. But at night we're going to be at the airport Holiday Inn, so like 8 minutes away from you. So we can just meet for dinner if you want a few times. It'd be fun. So I think we need to get the kids together. A few times because Brady and Max need to be
Yeah,
friends.
just hang out and swing some dicks.
They need to see the legacy, you know?
Yeah.
So,
This is what it's going to be like when you're older.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Our next podcast will be live at Vinny's
Next
Saturday.
Saturday morning.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. Morning beers. And you might meet my sister's new boyfriend who is from England. He's
across
he's
the
great.
pond.
He's
Across
great.
the pond.
So it's Friday night. Everyone's coming out, and we're gonna bar hop and do a couple things, and it'll be fun.
Yeah. All right,
Grodik-
let's do that.
Gordic is doing live band karaoke at Rec Room.
Okay.
So I told Gordic I'd swing by and say, hey, if that's before we all meet up or
Yeah.
after, that's fine. So we'll figure it out.
No, Phil, though, 11 a.m. We're going to do 11 to 2.
11 to 2.
Yeah.
And I will bring 3 mics, so we have an extra. I'll bring the board.
I'll bring
So I can
all
still
my
do this.
shit too,
Wait a
just
second.
so you don't fucking freak out.
Yep. And we'll go from that. I ate a whole pizza yesterday, so I'm going to go take another massive, huge dump. And Daryl's going to go slay some puss. And
So fuck, it's even before midnight. All right.
all right, yeah, we're doing good. All right, so we'll see you live at Vinny's.
Next
and then,
Saturday
you know,
morning.
West
Fucking 11 a.m., man. We're kicking it hardcore next
It'll be
Saturday.
fun. It'll be fun. All right.
Drink a Busch Light draft. Let's go.
All right, we'll get out of here. I'll see you in a couple days, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right.
Love you.
Keep fucking the chicken. Love you. And we'll go from there. Later.